Have you ever thought about what would happen if an AI started writing our history books? Like, in real time? Well, we're kind of finding out right now. There's a new challenger in town, and it's trying to take on Wikipedia. And believe me, it is kicking up a huge storm about facts, bias, and who really gets to write the truth. Okay, let's get into it.
Sorry, you have been blocked. So that's the message thousands of people saw on day one of a brand new, super hyped website. Instead of getting this amazing fountain of knowledge, they just hit a digital brick wall. It actually led one user to joke that it was, quote, the safest encyclopedia ever created because nothing untrue was given to me. Fair point? So what exactly was this project that basically locked its own doors on opening day? Meet Grokipedia. It's a new AI-powered encyclopedia from Elon Musk's company, XAI. And it launched with a really bold mission to be a truth-seeking knowledge base and, you guessed it, a direct competitor to the undisputed king of online encyclopedias, Wikipedia. So you might be asking, why do we even need a new encyclopedia? Well, the whole argument from Grokipedia's side is that Wikipedia has a left-wing bias, that it's controlled by human editors who get into these endless edit wars. Grokipedia's fix? Use AI for everything. Real-time updates, AI-driven edits, you name it. Plus, it promises to be open to all sources with no bans to avoid what they call ideological gatekeeping. And that right there, that gets us to the absolute core of Grokipedia's sales pitch. Pure, unfiltered, unbiased information, all delivered by a machine. I mean, this is a totally different way of doing things. The claims are pretty wild. Articles written and updated instantly by AI, no gatekeeping on sources, and an end to all the drama and vandalism that can sometimes happen on human-edited sites. You can suggest stuff, sure, but at the end of the day, the AI is the editor-in-chief. It sounds almost perfect, doesn't it? A machine that just gives you the facts. But yeah, you can see where this is going. Almost immediately, people started asking a really fundamental question. Can an AI, something built by humans and trained on human data, ever really be unbiased? So, okay, that was the promise. How did this whole unbiased information thing actually hold up once people got in? Well, let's look at a few examples that users flagged right away. And wow, this one really tells the story. Take the entry for Gamergate. Wikipedia, which is based on years of human debate and sourcing, calls it a misogynistic online harassment campaign. Grokipedia, on the other hand, it defines it as a grassroots movement about exposing conflicts of interest. I mean, these aren't just slightly different takes, they're describing two completely different realities.
The article on transgender also got a ton of attention. Users pointed out what they saw as pretty clear signs of bias. It was accused of framing transgender identity as a medical disorder, relying on controversial sources, and using what critics called fear-mongering tactics.
And then you get stuff like this, the entry on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Grokipedia gives this super dense academic take, basically arguing that Buffy's empowerment doesn't really count because she sometimes gets help from men. It's a choice, and a pretty fascinating, if kind of bizarre, peek into how this AI thinks. Okay, so these examples from Grokipedia are interesting, but they point to a much, much bigger question that goes way beyond just one website. So let's get right to it. How can a machine, a piece of software, even be biased? It's just code, right? It's just ones and zeros. How does that happen? To really get this, let's look at a classic real-world example from a big ProPublica investigation. You have two people arrested for similar minor crimes. Brescia Borden, a black woman with some misdemeanors as a kid, was rated as a high risk to reoffend. Vernon Prater, a white man with a history of armed robbery, was rated as low risk. The algorithm got it completely, totally backward. And when the journalists dug into the data, they found the algorithm wasn't just wrong, it was wrong in a really specific, biased way. It turned out that black defendants were almost twice as likely as white defendants to be falsely labeled as high risk. The machine was systematically making different kinds of mistakes for different groups of people. So how in the world does that happen? Well, bias isn't just a single error. It's not one bug. It can creep in at basically any stage of the process, from biased data that reflects our own society's history to the way the algorithm is designed, and even in how people use its results. And that really brings us to the single most important thing to understand here. An AI learns from the world as it is, not as we wish it were. So if the mountain of text and data it's trained on contains all of our human biases, and trust me, it does, the AI will learn those biases. And a lot of the time, it'll actually make them even worse. So let's bring this all back to Grokipedia, because this isn't just some tech nerd debate. This is really a battle over the future of knowledge itself.
What we're really looking at is a clash between two totally different philosophies. On one hand, you have Wikipedia. It's messy, it's slow, it's argumentative, but it's built on the transparent consensus of millions of volunteers. And on the other hand, you have Grokipedia, which offers something streamlined and fast, but its knowledge comes from the opaque authority of a single algorithm.
As one tech publication put it, the sheer scale of what they're trying to do is bananas. The idea that a single AI could replace the combined effort and wisdom of a global community of volunteers, it's an incredible and honestly a pretty audacious gamble.
Which, of course, forces us all to ask a pretty heavy question. As we step deeper into this AI-driven world, who or what are we going to trust to tell us what's true? Because at the end of the day, this whole AI encyclopedia war isn't just about which website is better. The real challenge is about the process. Do we put our faith in the slow, messy, flawed consensus of humans? Or do we hand it over to the fast, powerful, but invisibly biased judgment of a machine? Who or what is going to get to write our shared reality?